It's now been revealed that Fox host Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump's pick to be Secretary of Defense, that's not a joke, he actually did that, has previously faced accusations of sexual assault. And according to Vanity Fair, the alleged incident took place in Monterey, California in October of 2017 at a hotel that was hosting a gathering of Republican women. Now, the police of Monterey have confirmed that they did investigate him for sexual assault. In the end, he was not charged with a crime, and the city of Monterey police, in its statement citing a police report, did not release any information about the alleged victim, who reported the incident on October 12th of that year. That was 5 days after the alleged assault. And so, no actual crime was charged, but in the police's statement about the investigation, they wrote that the victim had, quote, contusions to right thigh. And I want you to just remember that for later on in the story, that that's a thing the police said they found when they investigated it. Now, as of right now, it's not looking like we're gonna have any more details, though. The city said it's not going to release the full police report. This is an age we're in of reports not being released. Get used to that. But the incoming chief of staff for the Trump administration, Susie Wiles, was apparently told about this, presented with the information about the allegation. And according to a source inside of the transition, it apparently was serious enough that both Wiles and Trump's lawyers spoke to Hegseth about it on Thursday. A source with knowledge of the meeting said that Hegseth said that the allegation stemmed from a consensual encounter and characterized the episode as he said, she said. And so we have statements from both the Trump legal team as well as Trump comms and all of that. I do just want to briefly mention that, that's supposed to make us feel entirely better about it, that he apparently had a consensual sexual experience, and within 5 days, bearing marks of some sort of potential injury, she was claiming that she had been sexually assaulted. But don't worry, she's just saying that. I mean, I know that that's a thing that is a common response to allegations of sexual assault, but that doesn't make me feel much better. They're definitely giving off the vibe that that should sweep it under the rug. And again, we're in a difficult position because we're unlikely to get any more information. But it's also concerning, by the way, that although they say they vetted him, they didn't come across this. And remember, he's being vetted apparently to be Secretary of Defense. But a less than a decade old sexual assault allegation from an event of a bunch of Republicans didn't come up? That seems strange.
Yeah, so I've got strong thoughts, but they lean in two different directions. So depending on which part of the story we're talking about. So first off, of course I'd like to know what actually happened. And so if there was an actual sexual assault that happened, that is enormously relevant, okay? The police determined that there was not. Okay, so was it a cover up? Well, again, that would be enormously relevant, right? Or did they actually do their due diligence? They looked into it and concluded, sorry, but we don't think that this is a case we can bring forward, that this person should not be arrested. Enormously relevant, right? So all of us making assumptions based on no evidence is really, to be fair, not no evidence, because it was brought forward, there's a contusion on the thigh, so there's some evidence. And in fact, on Pete Hegseth, I almost want the rest of the conclusions to come out because that makes it look bad. And then you go, oh, okay, well, but they brushed it under the carpet. Well, again, I would be very, very frustrated about that if I was innocent, okay? So I don't know what to make of that in particular. Did they properly vet him? I mean, there's these hilarious statements we shouldn't bother reading them about. Well, of course we did. Our vetting is the new process of not vetting. No, of course they didn't vet him. Trump never does his homework, right? There's no, and there he's like, I like Hegseth. I saw him on Fox News. So very strong, right out of Central Casting. Got a couple of bronze stars,
exactly
right?
What I was thinking.
Of course, he didn't do any vetting. Of course, that's how he picked him, right? So, but don't and then there's one other factor here. But before I get to that other factor, and I let Francesca in here, I don't want you to get me wrong. I'm going to tell you in a little bit why I think Pete Hegseth is a terrible pick and why I'm really concerned about him, okay? But the other factor, guys, is that any time that the establishment doesn't like anyone on the right or the left, your countdown, some allegation relating to sex incoming in 3, 2, 1. Almost every time. So I'm not saying that Hegseth didn't do it. There's a real charge here. There was a contusion on the thigh, etc. What I'm saying is they cry wolf so many times that we don't know when the wolf is actually here.
I mean, but if we're stacking allegations and even convictions, the rights pile is massive, massive. Okay, there are pedophiles hiding among them that were in the Trump campaign, that were the co-chair of the RNC, people who like were peddling child pornography. To say nothing of Trump and Epstein ties that we're not supposed to talk about anymore because now he won the election. But I mean, look, yes. The fact to me that there is a police report says something, even if they didn't find, supposed sexual misconduct or assaults. But it is noticeable that there was a report at all. And this is the city of Monterey. That's where the Big Little Lies show took place. It's all just too on brand, Trumpy and Republican for my taste. The thing that my mind immediately goes to, knowing that there's an allegation or possible allegation against Pete Hegseth, number one, he's gonna get confirmed anyway. We saw what happened to Kavanaugh, despite despite the testimony, right, against him and him crying in public about it. But for me, I think about the military, right? Pete Hegseth being the Secretary of Defense, and the fact that sexual assault in the military is rampant. It's rampant against women, it's rampant against men, and it leads to people being murdered, as in the case of Vanessa Guillen, which supposedly maybe Donald Trump said some pretty disparaging things about. But so this is chilling, it is terrifying. And this is also a guy who said that he doesn't think women should be in combat roles. Yep. Well, be more specific. I mean, let's be honest. He doesn't think women should be in the military more broadly. He also doesn't think that people of color should be in the military. And I'm sure, and Cenk, you'll get to this, never mind his thoughts about, war and Muslims and the clash of civilizations. So it's sickening from top to bottom. And yet, will it change anything? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, I guess, is hoping that the maximum amount of sexual assaults you can have to be Secretary of Defense, hopefully is still, you can't have any. Obviously, president is a couple of dozen, but we're hoping that the threshold is different for cabinet positions. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up Vanessa Guillen. And I mean, what if you're one of the hundreds of thousands of women serving in the military? Like, how demoralizing must it be that this guy might be in charge? Like the assault, the fact that he doesn't value your actual service, your bravery, the fact that many have given their lives or been maimed. I mean, Tammy Duckworth has been talking about that in the media. And he doesn't value them. And like a guy like this, is he gonna push for reform that cuts down on the number of sexual assaults there? I find it a little bit hard to believe. Also, by the way, he's not qualified. I kind of feel like you'd probably want the person heading up the entire military of the United States to know what they're doing and not just be chosen because you sat next to Brian Kilmeade for a few years. That seems like a strange reason to choose you. But also as to the accusation, I mean, obviously we don't know and we can't know. Is it possible that it was made up? Sure, some are made up. Everybody has a different idea in their head of how common that is. People who probably are big fans of Pete Hegseth probably think it's in the 99% range. I personally think it's like 1%. That's what I personally think. And I will say, it's 2017. He's been a Senate candidate at that point. I believe he's already in Fox at that point. I mean, he's at an event for Republican women.
Ironic.
Exactly, but so you're a woman at the event, you have an encounter with him, and according to him, you lie and say that he assaulted you. Like, I mean, it's 2017, it's a slightly different time than now, but you still have to assume that that probably is the end of you in Republican circles, right? If you make an accusation against a popular up and coming man on the right, like to what benefit? Why exactly are you lying about that? I mean, it's not like they say, oh, they're trying to take down Trump, he's running for president, so they're lying about him. He's a host on Fox. Why randomly make that up after meeting up with Republican women? Again, it's not impossible, but I'd like a story, like an explanation as to why that would happen. And when you have evidence of a potential injury, I don't know, again, his lawyer says there was no evidence. Well, again, except for that injury.
Yeah, so, but the police did conclude that they weren't going to arrest him, but we don't know why. So look, guys, Franny's right, it's not gonna prevent him. Number one reason why that's not going to stop him from being Secretary of Defense is because, he might have done a sexual assault. I'm sure that Trump will be outraged. who has been literally found liable of sexual assault. So he's gonna say, what do you mean? The American people gave me a mandate. Sexual assault doesn't matter at all, right? Even if it was true, it wouldn't matter. I was found liable, I was found guilty, and it didn't matter. Why would it matter when a guy wasn't even arrested for it, right? And wasn't even tried for it. Okay, so the second reason it won't matter, in my opinion, is because of my Matt Gaetz sacrificial lamb theory. That they put up Matt Gaetz to get voted down, so then Trump can say, that's it, I want everyone else, and if any Republican opposes me, they'll be hell to pay. So then Hegseth and Tulsi and all the pro-Israel guys and the neocons, everybody gets whisked right, but the neocons would get confirmed in a second anyway. So that's my guess as to how it's gonna go down. But what are my concerns about Hegseth? By the way, John, I'm only half with you on his experience. Totally inexperienced, of course. And in order to operate a gigantic organizations like this, there's 3 million people in the Defense Department. Did you know that? What you actually need is an excellent manager. That's the experience you need, not like military experience, not Fox News experience. You need management experience, but we don't pick that way. So, and the experience that the corporate Democrats and Republicans pick is, a general who's massively in favor of war and is going to work for a defense contractor afterwards. I'm not interested in that experience. So no, I don't care about that part of it, except for the fact that, do we think he's had any management experience? Right, so he's gonna walk in here and not have any idea what to do. Then I don't like women serving. So which gets me to the real problems. You don't want women serving in combat, brother. We already decided this, man. Well, now what are we gonna go backwards? Now you're gonna attack all the women in the armed forces when you're the defense secretary? That's mental. Okay, so that's number two is. Did you know that in the 2020 there was several people who were in the National Guard who were supposed to help with the protection of the president during the inauguration? But about a dozen of them were taken off of that duty because it was found that they were engaging in extreme right-wing talk online, which made the authorities concerned that they would not protect Biden. One of them was Pete Hegseth. So this guy is totally extreme. And then that gets me to the one thing that I'm even more concerned about, which is he has called the left domestic enemies. Now, do you think that guy is going to have compunctions about how to use the military inside the United States? Remember, Trump has asked several times in his first term, can we use the military to shoot protesters in the leg, to clear out protesters, to this, that, and the other thing? And by the way, also considered martial law when he lost the election. So he doesn't want anyone who actually believes in our code here in America, which is that the military does not get involved with domestic politics. He's picking Hegseth for the exact opposite reason, because he wants him to get politics involved in the military and maybe use the military against the American people under the guise of people we don't agree with are domestic enemies. By the way, we're against cancel culture and we're for freedom. My ass you are. You picked this extremist radical for defense secretary exactly because you love cancel culture and you'd love to cancel women in the military because he said it in the combat roles, and you'd love to cancel everyone on the left, and if anyone disagrees, maybe Hegseth uses the military against them.
Yeah, I mean, he's a loyalist who's anti-woke, right? That is the only qualification you need. I'm just looking forward to the fact that when I get my skull cracked in by someone in the military, they'll just be a white guy, and I'll be like, I won't have to like talk some woman down and be like, girl, why are you doing this? Because she will have been purged.
Hey, way to find your silver lining. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
find hope where you can.
I mean, it's the same thing being like, oh, the cops, if they're the idea that there's black cops, it's woke. It's just like, no, have you not seen videos like dash cam footage? They also can do terrible things. And again, this is more broadly, I mean, we all have critiques of the military. We've been criticizing, the amount of funding that we give to Israel all for over a year now, right? But that being said, when you say you don't think women should serve in combat roles and you have possibly a history of sexual assault, what you truly do is you put a target on people's backs. And that's exactly what sexual assault does to women already in the military is basically, you don't belong here and I'm gonna treat you this way. And of course, it's just on brand. This is, people celebrated Trump's victory with what? Your body, my choice, completely on brand.
Well, I think we should take our first break. I'm gonna throw one thought out to the audience on an additional potential issue with him. And you mentioned some of the other people that Trump has put forward. Like I know Trump's a dove. I know that, loves peace, non-interventionist. If you take a look at the constellation of people he's chosen, I don't know if this is a thing that you can bet on Polymarket. The odds on a war with Iran feel like they've gone up very significantly with these people.
That's a great point, John, because blockheads like Hegseth think that they get to prove how tough and strong they are by sending other people into war, right? And they do, oh yeah, Iran, we'll show you, you stupid Muslims. We'll show you, come on Israel, we're gonna fight your war for you. And here's the trillions of dollars, let's go war. Okay, yeah, let's see guys. Maybe I'm wrong. And Hegseth would be like, no, I really don't want war. Yeah. There's a clear mandate, there's no question MAGA's anti-war. Sorry, we're not fighting Israel's war for them. We're not going to help them in their attacks against Iran, and we're withdrawing, and we're not going to send American dollars there, America first. Okay, let's see what happens. My guess is he will say none of that. No. He will say none of that, and he will say, well, yeah, of course, show them how tough and strong we are, because he's an idiot. He's not an idiot as in like he can't get good grades. He went to Princeton and Harvard, I understand that. He's naturally, as a state of being, is an idiot who thinks that like you prove how tough you are by like, oh yeah, you start a fight, I'll show you, I'll throw a punch. Throwing a punch is not tough. Taking a punch is tough. And so he'll tell us, oh yeah, I got military experience. So I don't know if he's killed people in battle and how tough he is, etc. But starting wars was the exact opposite thing that Trump said he would do. We're all crystal clear on that. And I would be shocked if blockhead Pete Hegseth wasn't itching and dying to prove himself by starting a war, especially against Muslims. And I don't believe that he's anti-war for 1 second. Happy to be proven wrong.
Oh no.
And if we are, we'll come out and tell you.
His history of comments about Iran specifically are as hawkish as like anyone on Fox News.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.